The Gina and Maddie podcast.
A couple of weeks ago, Gina, I was house sitting for my auntie and uncle.
Yeah.
And cute little French bulldog, Frankie, and me and him were hanging out for 6 weeks. But they have something in their house where I was like, whew, it's a bit fancy.
Oh.
They got a lot of fancy things in this house. Like, I'm just going to preface that.
Yeah.
They have a steam room.
Oh.
They have an infrared sauna.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're bougie.
Yeah, they've got the heated towel rack. They've got the heated floor.
Oh.
But there was something where I just thought, okay, a soda stream.
So you don't have to go out and buy your own soda water?
So I was like, what? I can have vodka and not have to go and buy the soda water for it?
Amazing.
I just stick some water in a canister and it goes,
Pretty cool.
and it's done. And you know, it made me start thinking.
It's funny that impressed you more than the heated floors. Yeah.
That's what impressed me. And it made me think back to when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And you would go to your friend's house and there would just be things that you saw, the simplest of things, and you would think, whoo, these guys are loaded. They're minted.
Yeah.
They're rich. And for me as a kid, it was if I went to a friend's house and they had the French door fridge that had the water and the ice maker.
Oh, yeah. That's bougie.
Or the incinerator.
Well, I'm a little bit older than you. Oh, tiny bit older than you, Adam. But if they had a really big fish tank, I'd be like, ooh, they are plush. Like really big one with the lights and stuff in it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
What things did you see at somebody's house that made you think that they are rich?
I got rich people problems, but money ain't one. Hit me.
All right, Wendy in Gosford, what made you think somebody was rich?
My friends had a 3-story house right on Narrabeen Beach,
Oh.
and it was very plush. I shared a room with my brother, and their dog had her own bedroom.
The dog had a bedroom.
And they had a colour TV. That was big.
Colour TV.
Ali in Halakalani, what thing did you see as a kid at somebody's house where you went, oh, man, they're rich?
Firstly, if they had a pool, I thought, wow, these guys are rich.
Oh, yeah.
And if they had a bar, I'm like, wow, these guys are super rich. But if they had a spa bar in their bedroom, it was like, these guys have made it.
Bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I thought too if they had a pool, next level if they had a blue slippery dip that went into it. I mean, that's next level.
All right, Frankie in Tuggerah, go ahead. What do you think made somebody rich?
Well, my mum actually has the story, so could she tell it?
Yeah.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi, Mum.
We had family friends living in Lane Cove and we used to go and visit them. And when we went to the bathroom, they had gold taps, and they're actually gold taps that were actually imported from Italy.
Oh, they were actual gold taps.
Yes, like pure gold.
Bougie. Do you remember the gold taps that I'm looking at him, he doesn't, but they were a fish and the water would come out of the fish's mouth? Do you remember those?
That's what they were.
Oh!
That's rich.
Wendy, what did you see that made somebody rich when you were a kid?
They had an Atari.
Oh, yeah.
An Atari. Now, side note, producer CJ thought it was a car. And then she Googled and she goes, oh, do you know there was Pac-Man, and she rattled off what they used to go, and Adam and I go, yeah, we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pac-Man is a little tennis.
Yeah.
Bougie. Bougie as.
Gina and Maddie.
Oh, my God. Yesterday, I got home from the radio. I don't call it work because it's not really work. It's talking in the talking stick. And my son was sitting on the lounge. I sat beside him and I said, guess what I did today? He goes, what, Mum? You know, boring face. Interviewed Lainey Wilson. He goes, what? Now I am the coolest mum on the planet because we're big into country music in our house, obviously. I actually impressed my son, my 21-year-old son, potentially for the first time. Yeah, he thinks at last I'm cool. And because this time yesterday, country megastar Lainey Wilson was hanging out with us on the show, and she mentioned something very briefly that we never asked a follow-up question, and we should have. We definitely should have. She apparently started out as a Hannah Montana impersonator. She's got the long blonde hair. She's got the country twang in her voice, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the character who's played by Miley Cyrus, of course. Back on the Disney Channel back in the day. And she was on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and she was talking about those early days. Let's have a listen to what she said.
A lot of the times I would open the show as Lainey Wilson, and then I would run behind a tree or whatever it was and put on my Hannah Montana get up. So I did this from 8th grade to 12th grade. I did like 3 or 4 birthday parties a weekend.
And then full circle moment, you get to meet Miley Cyrus and perform for her. What was it like? Have you met Miley?
No, that was the very first time. It was just really cool to be able to shake her hand and tell her how much Hannah Montana meant to me.
Now, the reason she brought up Miley yesterday in the interview is you asked her, Gina, who would she like to collab with that she hasn't yet? Because she's worked with Keith Urban, Post Malone, Dolly Parton.
Oh, yeah.
And she said Miley. So do you reckon now that they've actually met,
Yes.
that conversation has happened?
Absolutely. And because, Miley Cyrus started out as a country
And Dolly
artist.
Parton taught her how to sing.
She's her godmother.
Exactly.
And I reckon Miley Cyrus is going to go, hang on, country music's massive again. I would hope that she might come back and do a country record.
Look, I don't want to take credit for this happening,
but
I'm going to take credit.
I think
I'm
you
going to give
should.
Gina the credit
No,
because
I
you
think-
asked the question.
I think you should take credit.
You know what? We'll share the credit.
We'll share it. Hopefully that'll happen. We heard the other day how Kate Winslet didn't want to be a star, as famous as she got from the Titanic. Right?
Yeah.
And she's gone on in one of the biggest movies of all time, Avatar 2.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess the 90s, early 2000s, she didn't do it, but then she came back now and, has gone to the biggest movie ever. Maybe it's the James Cameron thing.
I think, because it was interesting, the story when she spoke the other day, how she just wasn't ready for the fame and what that would mean. So she chose smaller roles on purpose to not get all that attention.
Yep.
She seems like a really nice human.
Yeah.
So now Avatar 2. Did you see the first Avatar?
I saw the first one. I'm yet to see the second one.
Yeah, me too. I loved the first one. I thought it was a really, really great movie. Absolutely, really enjoyed it. And
So did I.
So it's called Way of the Waters. It takes place, of course, underwater, and she had to learn the sport of holding your breath, of course, to film that. So, because I wondered, did they just do that kind of with
CGI and all that stuff.
special effects and stuff, but no. Now, Tom Cruise used to hold the celebrity record of 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Of course he did. Tom Cruise is an overachiever.
Yep.
And we're going to see, do you think Kate could beat Tom Cruise?
Well, I feel like if we're playing it, she must have. She's either done really good or really bad.
So she told Graham Norton, have a listen.
Here we go.
Am I dead? Am I dead?
Alive.
What was that?
It was 7:15.
Whoa!
I wonder how Tom Cruise feels. He's like, damn you, Kate Winslet.
Wow, that's incredible.
7 minutes, 15 seconds holding your breath.
We couldn't do that.
Well, we can't stop talking, so that's our problem. So she goes on to say how she did it, and she actually learnt professionally how to do it, so we shouldn't try it at home. Have a listen.
Were you thinking about what's dinner tonight?
Yes, I was. I was thinking, okay, chop the onion. I mean, firstly, I do have to just say this. It is a sport. It's not something that you can just try in the bath, and you should never, ever, ever... No, I really mean this. You should never do it by yourself, because actually what happens when people don't know what they're doing is they come up, and you saw I did a breathing sequence the second I came up. So what happens is people will come up and they go... and that's when people black out and run into trouble. So it is not something you can just do without knowing what you're doing. So the training I had was 3 weeks of training every single day, and you learn how to literally change how you distribute the oxygen in your body. It's a very detailed, quite extraordinary process, and I loved it and got really, really good at it. I'm in my 40s, I've had 3 children. You know, you don't think that you can be brave enough to learn something new.
Look at her go. Yeah, she's had 3 children. That is incredible.
She's amazing. But you know who's running a bath right now?
No.
Tom Cruise.
Come on, Tom, you can do it.
The Gina and Maddie Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.